This is Irontrader, and this is Midday Trading. So we're going to take a look at some stocks here. We're going to take a look here at STZ, Constellation Brands, PLTR, OneStream, BMNR, and Nike. Okay, this video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy selling stock market ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Okay, here we have Constellation Brands, STZ. Now, this used to be a really good high flyer kind of situation. Now, remember, they came up with the earnings, and actually the numbers were good. But remember, they also have a big piece of that canopy growth. So they have booze and weed. So, what could possibly go wrong? But anyway, here we are on the old chart. Okay, so what we got here, we had this like a double top situation, sold right off, and see once it gets below that 8-day, it just kills it. Now we're above the 8-day, which is looking pretty good. Now you can see here how when it rallied up here, went right to that 148.10 level. So all you have to do is look to the left of the chart, and that's to say that's what we have for your resistance level. See how nice that works? Okay, so if we can get past today's high, that right there, that 148.10 level, then what we're going to do is we're going to come up to the top of this candle right here. You're looking at 150.57 level. We'll come to the top of this candle right there at that 150.73. Then we have this 50-day at 152.63. Now there's a gap, okay? So I want to show you this gap. Okay, we get above that 50-day, then here's going to be your next target. It's going to be right there at that 154.16, and then we look to the bottom of that candle at that fill at 158.67. So we have a gap, a fill, and then we can head over to that 100 SMA. Now, you can see how this 8-day now is curling up, and it crossed over the 21-day. So if this sells down, that's going to provide very, very nice support. So we're looking at a downside. We're looking, obviously, it's today's low, 140.74. Then we'll be looking for that 8-day, 138.25, and then we'll come out here at that 137.04 level. Now, if that's lost, we just follow the candles down. Okay, 135 roughly, and then we have 133.93. We come down to the bottom again, 132.05, and then we retest down there at 131.20 level. But right now, that 8-day crossover here, that's going to provide very, very good support. Maybe take this bad boy higher. Now, 49, that's got plenty of room to run. We got to a way over sold condition. And now we're moving right on up here nicely. The green is over your red. That's showing very, very good momentum to the upside. But you can always see that 148.10. I say just look right to the left of the chart, and everything you need to know where the upside targets are sitting right here. Okay, very, very simple. But again, if we can get above that 50-day, just watch that gap and watch that fill. Now, we look at the weekly chart here. This is nothing to write home about. We had a nice, good a situation. It was a sideways. But again, when I say you go sideways, you build energy, but it can break to the top, but it can break to the downside just as well. Okay, so that's what you always want to watch, kind of a situation. Now, you can see here how it rallied up. But again, we're sitting there, we're watching that 8-day, that 145.87. We get above that, you have that 161, and then we have that 183. And then we can come all the way to the top of that candle at that 196 level. But again, we have a lot of resistance here on the daily chart compared to what we have for the weekly chart. So I don't know about this is something that you really want to jump into right now, unless we can start closing above that 8-day and we can get above this 50-day situation. Then we can start taking up to that gap and that fill in the possible 100-day. Now, we had negative divergence. See how we had this low? We had a low. We had a lower low, but we had a higher low there. Okay, see that? Positive divergence. Sorry about that. Positive divergence. And then it rallied up here nicely. But again, that 8-day, very, very strong. Okay, let's take a look here now at a Palantir. All right, here we have Palantir, your daily chart. Now, you can see here, if we just take a look at everything that we have on these earnings, okay? So we take these earnings, and where to go? Right on up. Take the earnings, where to go? Right on up. The earnings, right on up. Okay, look at this earnings here, jumped right on up. All right, so again, the odds of this next earnings session coming up are going to be good, and this thing is actually going to be going higher. So just on any kind of a pullback, I think there's a good buying opportunity here. So when we look at this chart, I can see here we're hanging right around that 8-day, that 180.44. Now, when we lose that, then we want to go to that 176 level, and then we come down to that 169 level, your 21-day and your 50 SMA. Now, if we kind of lose that situation, then we're going to be looking for the bottom of that candle right there. You're looking at that 161.27 level. We have a retest at 156, and then we have your 100-day at 153.65 level. Then again, all we do is just take this price channels right across, makes life easier, 148.04. And the same way right there, 142.34 level. But right now, the price is above that 21-day. The 21-day crossed over to 50-day. So this is looking very, very good. Now we have a topping tail candle. We got as high today as 186.18. We're looking here right for that price channel. We're looking for that 188.20. Now, if we can get above that 188.20, just remember, one day does not make a market. We have this sideways action, and we're holding this here for many, many days. Now, if we can get above that 188.20, then this is it right here, 190. Okay, you get above 190, it's blue sky. This is all you got left is that 190, but you got to get and close above that 188.20. I just think it's going to be a matter of time when you look at this chart and how bullish this chart in this company actually is. Okay, now, but again, so what you want to watch is just watch that 8-day. We lose it. You watch that catch-all, that 21-day. Then we watch that 50 SMA here at that 169 level. Okay, we start losing that. And I say, do we have that 100-day as a nice, good test? Now, we look at here. We're not to nowhere near to an, like an overbought condition. This is still looking very, very good. This is like a sideways action. But the whole key to this whole situation is going to be right there at that 188.20. And then we attack that 190. We'll see what the reaction is. But you crack above that, you're going to that 200. You crack that 200, then you know how it works. It's going to be, a 225, 250, and then rack right on up kind of situation. Now, I am long this stock, and I'm also trading this stock because it's getting a lot of good action going into it. Okay, so let's take a look here at OneStream. All right, here we have OneStream situation going here. Now you can see here we had this whole like a congestion kind of area. I could not get above it. We had that series of high, lower, and then she just came right off. Now we had this sideways action situation, came right on down. Now we're looking here, right here at the bottom. So what we're looking here on this chart is you're looking right here. Okay, this is going to be key. It's going to be that 1773 level. Okay, so right now what we're looking at, we were looking here before, we're looking at that 1845. But now we cracked that and we're going down to that 1773. That's going to be the retest. We lose that, we just bring this bad boy right across here, and we had that 1738. Okay, so right there, okay, 1773. Your next level is going to be right there, 1738, and then we have your retest there at 1669 level. Now, we're sitting here at the bottom end of the situation. We have right now positive divergence. Okay, so we have the low, okay, have a low. We have a lower low, but we have a higher low here. So we have positive divergence. So you got to be a little bit patient with what this stock is doing here. But we got that big ass red candle went right at that 21-day. You can see how strong these simple moving average is, and then all the way on down. So on the upside, what you're really watching, you're looking at the bottom of that candle, 1818 will come up there. You're looking at 1833, and then we have 1836, and then we'll be looking right there for that 8-day at that 1868. Now we get above that. Then we'll be looking right there at that 1915 level. That is going to be your 21-day. Now, you can see here very, very strong. Then your next level is going to be 1982, and then we'll be coming up to that 50-day at 2027. Now, if we can get above that, look, you can see how nice stair-step this chart is. So all you got to do is bring that right across. Your next level is going to be 2052. We just bring this right across. Okay, what do you got? You got 2114. Then we just bring that price channel across, and then you have 2160, and you just keep venturing right on up here till we get to the bottom of that candle at 2264, and then we have 2268 level. We'll come top of that candle, 2355, and then we come all the way up here to that nice 100-day, okay, and then we come up to that 200-day. But right now, this here is you're in a downtrending situation because now the price is below all your simple moving averages, okay? Your 8-day, 21-day, 50-day, 100-day, and 200-day. So you have to have something like a dramatic situation, and you have to get back above that 8-day and 21-day, then we can go higher. So on the down, that's on the upside. Downside, watch that 1773. Your next level is going to be right to the bottom of that candle at that 1738, and then we have 1669 level, okay? That's going to be a retest. Now, again, if you lose that, you're going to go down to the 15s, 14s, 12s. Okay, we don't know exactly where it's going to go because if you look at the chart here, kind of a situation, that's all we got. Okay, so this is going to be your big test, and if we can't get that, then you're going to go right down to that 15th and possibly even lower. Okay, let's take a look here at BMNR. Okay, so BMNR, this trades against with Ethereum kind of a situation. Now you can see here how this chart is still very, very new, I should say. Okay, so we don't have really a lot to work with here. But okay, what we're watching here on the upside is right there is that 64.25 level. Okay, you have to get and close above it. Now you can see here today we made 65.60. It looks very good, but you notice that it couldn't hold it. So right there you're looking at 64.25 level. Now we get above that. Then we come up top of this next candle is going to be 67.59. It'll come top of there at that 70 flat. And then this is what you're going to be looking for, 71.74. That's going to be the really, really big test if you can get back and close above it. Because what do you have next? Well, we come all the way to the top of that candle, 74.80 level, and then we come to the bottom of that candle. You're looking at the 92.50 level. Then we come down to the bottom there at 10.84. Then work yourself up here, 126, and then we have 134, and then come all the way up to 161. So this was like just a parabolic move. And a lot of times when you have those parabolic moves, it just flatlines sideways kind of situation. So the key, what you're watching on the upside, is that 64.25. If we get above it, this is your next big level that you're looking for, is that 71.74. If you crack that, then there's really not much resistance going on right up there. Okay, so on the downside here, what we do is we're watching that 8-day. Okay, 55.52, that's going to be key. Next one is 54.08, and then we have your 50-day at 49.47, and then we have a nice good retest down here at that 43.45 level. Now we lose that, we come right to the bottom of that candle. You're looking at 39.70 level, and then we could come all the way down to this level here at 30.94. But right now here, your price is above all your simple moving averages, looking very good. This is not nowhere near overbought or oversold. It's just flatline situation. But just remember, when you get these parabolic moves, you're going to go sideways kind of an action. Okay, so bottom line, just watch that right there, 64.25 on it, but it's got to be a closing basis. You can't just pop up and drop down. That's not going to work. We get it. This is your next big target. Okay, downside, just watch that 8-day, your 21 SMA here, your 50 SMA here, and then we have that retest all the way down here at that 43.45 level. Okay, let's take a look here now at Nike. Here we have Nike, okay? So we had a nice high there, 131.31, and now we're just drifting. You can see how that's just an absolute downtrending kind of a chart situation. Now, they had the CEO on CNBC yesterday, and they're going through everything. But realistically, I think with these tariffs, they don't make anything really in America. So everything that they're selling is made overseas on the cheap, and they're just marking it up, and when they come over to the United States here, that's all they're really doing. See, see what the T-Man is trying to do is say, hey, why are we doing this? Build everything like right here, kind of a situation. You know what I'm saying? So, we've got to see how it all shakes out. But again, remember, everything takes time. Nothing is just that that easy kind of a situation. Okay, so Nike, what we did is we had this high of that 77.50. We retested that high, got as high as 79.99. And then we retested that again. We hit that high of 80.17. But you notice that it just couldn't hold this double top situation, and then down she came. Now she rallied up here right there, and we got as high as that 76.97, and now she's coming right on off here. Okay, so really that CNBC didn't really do a whole lot here for Nike. Okay, so now this is what you're watching on the downside is you're watching that 200-day. Okay, 69.79, very, very key. We lose that one, come right down to the bottom of this area here. You're looking at 68.82, and then 68.03. That's going to be the big retest. Okay, now that is your gap. Okay, you can see the gap in the fill, and there's a fill. But now we have this gap, so you have to really pay attention to right there, 68.03. Okay, we lose that. Okay, then we could come down here to the top of this candle. Yes. Okay, that's at 64.85 level. We could come down here to the top of that candle, 63.75. We could come down to the top of there, 63.47. But realistically, you're looking for that gap fill, okay, at 62.73. Okay, so once we start getting into this gap, okay, and you start getting into that, then we have, yes, support levels right there, but realistically, it's going to want to fill that gap, and you're going to go right down to that 62.73 level. Now, that's only if you lose that 68.03. Now, this could come down here, or even hold that 200-day, and just bounce right back up again. But you see this topping tail you have right there? That's not good. That's not good. And then she's just selling right off nicely. Now, on the upside, you got to reclaim the 69.79. That's your 200-day. And then we have their next level is going to be 70.64. And then we have right there 71.26 level. And then we're going to come up there at 71.86. Now, if we can get above that, you got this 74 level, which is that 50 SMA, and then obviously we have that retest at 76.97, and then we can start retesting maybe up that level at that 80.17. But always watch these patterns. See, we see here, see we have that double top situation, and then we have the red candles. Once you start putting in that lower low situation, boom, that's what happens. This was just a quick rally into those earnings, and then she just, selling right on off here. Now, you're looking at 40.39. That's not nowhere near overbought or oversold. The same way with here. This is just not looking good. So this is not a stock that's be like for me, but it was on the board here today. So we got to just, take a look at it and see what, what the whole situation is. But you have a totally descending chart here. But again, if you're trading this, watch that 6803. If you lose that, you can come right down to that gap fill at that 6273 very, very easily. Okay, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here after your pick close. We'll take a look here at Bitcoin, at that Ethereum ETF, ETHU, gold, silver, crude oil, natural gas. Take a look at the indexes, which are bleeding red. But just remember, yesterday we had the rally. Today we have turnaround Tuesday. So it does always the opposite. If we had a down day yesterday, today it's been working out here very, very nicely. But again, today here, look for opportunity. Look for buying opportunity. Palantir had a really nice good run up to 186. Now you're sitting about the 180 level. That could be a good buying opportunity. Let's just see how some of this stuff shakes out. So always look for opportunity and look for use stop losses, you know what I'm saying, and put money in your pocket. Okay, trade what's in front of you, not what you want.